Have you ever wondered why anime and manga look the way they do? And whether or not certain elements can be traced back to traditional Japanese art? Well, wait no longer, because we're about to break it all down for you in this episode of Is This Art? If you think that all anime and manga illustrations look similar, you're probably looking at it from a Western perspective. There's as much difference between them as there is in any other cartoon or comic style. But still, there's something about anime and manga which makes them instantly recognizable as Japanese. Which characteristics truly have their roots in Japanese art history, and which elements are borrowed from Western art historical traditions? We will answer these questions by diving deep into 3 important elements of Japanese art. 1. Contour lining. 2. Plane division. 3. Perspective. In order to understand the visual nature of anime and manga, it's important to understand the techniques behind one of the most important and influential art forms of Japan: woodblock prints. Woodblock prints were not always viewed as art by the Japanese themselves, as the prints were made mainly for the masses. But by the 19th century and onwards, partly due to the success of these prints in the West, the artistry of it caught on. Woodblock printing is a kind of stamping technique that consists of different phases. First, an image is drawn on special thin paper and glued onto a plank. Then the wood is chiseled into shape, following the lines of the drawing. The woodblock can then be inked and pressed onto paper, creating distinctive black contour lines. Color is then added using a similar stamping technique, leaving the contour lines intact. This distinctive contour lining is seen on almost all Japanese woodblock prints. While many modern Western illustrators try to get rid of these lines in their work as much as possible, the distinctive black contour lines can still be found in almost all anime and manga artwork, like Pokemon, Dragon Ball Z, Akira, and so forth. One of the most iconic woodblock print artists was Katsushika Hokusai. You might know him from this work, The Great Wave of Kanagawa. Which brings us to our second element, plane divisions, the way the print is divided by its composition. As you can see, the wave takes up a huge part of the print. It's so big, you don't even see the whole thing. Just like with this eagle and this plum tree. For some reason, it makes the subjects even more impressive. With this in mind, let's look at some of these scenes from Pokemon. Notice how they used the same kind of plane divisions? And not only Pokemon does this. You can also find it here, and here, and here. That's pretty cool, right? It's clear to see how the contour lining and plane divisions of Japanese woodblock prints have influenced anime and manga artists to this day. But there's one very recognizable characteristic of these old woodblock prints which modern artists haven't adopted: oblique projections. If this looks 2D to you, it's because you are not used to this projection of reality. In oblique projections, depth and 3D is created by a way of stacking planes on top of each other and giving objects a slight angle of around 30 degrees. This technique can be found in artworks throughout Asia. Usually the objects below should appear closer to the viewer than the objects on top. In Western art history, artists used one or more vanishing points to create perspective. And as Western art started to influence the Japanese artists more and more in the late 19th century, they also adopted the use of vanishing points to create perspective. This is why Pokemon looks like this, and not like this. Now, we're not arguing that anime and manga originated directly from the Japanese woodblock prints from the 18th and 19th century. But what we are saying is that your favorite anime shows would not look like they do if this tradition never existed. And this principle is not only true for Japan, it's true for the entire visual culture we're in today. Artists can't help but to get inspired by their predecessors and contemporaries. Or, as Pablo Picasso once said, good artists copy, great artists steal. But what do you think? Is this art? Let us know whether you think anime and manga can be art or not, and let us know your suggestions for future episodes of Is This Art by commenting below. Make sure to like and subscribe, and thank you for watching.